Welcome back to Strings and Pucks. This is Jeremy Laura, and it's another gear review. The good people at Melonare have sent me another monitor. This time, it's the wired portable in-ear monitor amplifier. This is really for mixing music, where if you need to get studio quality in something affordable and you want to be able to use headphones instead of regular monitors, this is a great option. We're going to dive into it next, so let's take a look at the Melonare WM-1 wired in-ear monitor amplifier. So welcome back to the channel. Before I go on, if you haven't yet, please click the subscribe button. Please like this and share this out. Thank you so much for helping to grow the channel this last year. So just a couple of weeks ago, I did a review of these. This is the wireless in-ear monitor transmitter receiver from Melonare. If you go back to my video, I talked about the benefits of this. Essentially, you're getting rid of the cables and it's very usable for being on a spoken panel or for live streaming, but for audio quality and mixing, I couldn't recommend it. Well, the people at Melonare, they saw my video and they sent this over. This is a more studio quality amplifier. It's a very specific use. I'm going to show you what's in the box, but before I do anything, this is a sponsored review. Melonare sent this over for me. I get to keep it. I'm not being paid for my opinion, but I am allowed to keep the gear they sent over. I just want to make that clear. But they did not tell me what to say or even how to go about demonstrating this. So I've come up with a couple of options. To start the video, my in-ear monitors are simply plugged into my iRig Duo Pro. I'm going to compare that to running this direct from my Boss unit, the VE8, where it has monitor outputs, and that's where this would come into play. And I'm going to see if I can detect a difference in clarity and if it's something I would use for mixing audio when I need the quality to be quite a bit higher. So first, what's in the box? I pulled this up on Amazon with the link they sent. The original price on these was $44.99. It's currently on sale. You'll have to check the link for the current price. But when you open it up, of course, you've got the manual. This is, to me, it feels like an aluminum. It's a metal enclosure, high quality. You've got an input for a balanced XLR cable, or you can use an imbalanced 1/4 inch. So right off the bat, if your interface just has an 1/8 inch output, this might not be the best fit. It may not even work with your interface. But if you're using a small mixing board with an XLR out or a 1/4 inch out, or if you're using a sound processor like the Boss here, or even some of the smaller interfaces where it has an XLR or a 1/4 inch out, this is an option for you. So also in the box are AAA batteries. So this does not have a place for a power supply that I can find. It's also got a clip, so you could, clip it on wherever you need to. So there is a portability to this because you're not plugging it in. I had already put some batteries in so I could test it. So essentially what you've got the option to be in mono or stereo, and that's going to depend on the output of your device. If it can transmit in stereo, you can select that option on here. You have a 1-tap mute button, and then the power. You can hear the click. There's a little detent where it turns off, and then that acts as the volume knob as well. So you can adjust the power and the volume from there, and there's your input. So the application I'm going to use this for, the Boss VE8. This is my vocal and acoustic processor. I've used this on several performances that you've heard. It has balanced outputs for guitar and vocal, or you can put both over one. So I'll be running the guitar input from the left XLR into this. Now, where I think this would be useful, apart from my use, like I said, if you're at home and you've got a mixer, there are some great musicians in the community. If you're using GarageBand or some recording software and you're using monitors, but you want to use headphones, you just want to stay silent, the same XLR output from your mixer or from whatever unit you're using will work in this. In live applications, these are great for drummers. I was a worship leader for 15 years, and getting a monitor to the drummer was always tricky, because if you're using floor wedges, that adds a lot of volume. The drummer needs to hear the mix. But if you could run an XLR cable from the main mixer, you can use a small unit like this so that the drummer can use in-ear monitors for this. It's an 1/8" headphone input, so keep that in mind as well. If you have a 1/4" headphone jack, you're going to have to get an adapter. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get some sound samples playing my guitar through the Boss unit, listening through these. Then I'm going to plug this in to the VE8 through the output and switch my headphone monitor to see if I'm hearing much of a difference. So let me first get some sound samples with the guitar. Alright, to set this up, I just need to run an XLR cable from the balanced output of the unit into the amplifier. Okay, so before I switch over, now I'm plugged in. If I turn it on, there you go, you can see the indicator light once it's on. I'm going to mute it at first. I just tap this red button and you can see the mute is on. So that is a handy feature. I probably don't need to tell you this. Whenever I'm switching into a new monitor, I keep the volume as low as possible. I don't want to hurt my eardrums just in case it's super powerful. So now I'm going to disconnect my headphones from the iRig output and into the direct monitor from this unit. Okay, all right. So let me see if I hear a big difference. Okay, I'm just at about matching the output. Here's what I'm hearing right away. Much more bass response, and I'm hearing way more of the mids. When I was going direct out of just the monitor input on the iRig, I was hearing mostly treble. Now I'm getting much fuller bass response, and honestly, it just sounds, I feel like I could tweak my tones quite a bit more. Everything I do, I'm hearing all the changes from picking position. So I feel like there's a lot more clarity. Now, a couple things to keep in mind. When you're using a regular headphone output, it's usually been voiced a little bit differently than the direct output. So what I'm getting now is a more studio quality sound direct from the unit, and that's what I would want to mix off of. So I can absolutely see the purpose of using this, but if you're a small creator and you're not really focusing on all the nuances of your audio, this isn't something you need to add to your rig at this point. If you're making music and you're used to using studio monitors now and you want the option to use headphones instead at times, or to A/B between the two, this is probably a great option. It's currently on sale for about $35, but normally comes in at about $45. As an amplifier that's portable, if you have a church gig or any place where you know you have a balanced or imbalanced output on your mixer and you want direct monitoring into an earpiece, this really sounds good. I'm really happy with the sound reproduction. So where I would use this going forward is mixing audio. If I'm using GarageBand, I would use the 1/4 inch output on whatever interface I'm using to go into this. Listening to videos with audio, anytime I have a chance to EQ or tweak it. But this is really if you're going to get into the nuances. I don't think this is an everyday item for most people. It's a great price, and if you have the option to use studio monitors or live monitoring in a performance setting, this is probably a great option if you want to have the option to use headphones and have a silent stage. So I hope that was helpful. I'm going to try to do a guitar demo mixing using the looper function on my Boss pedal and try to mix multiple parts and do something I haven't done on this channel much, and that's just creating a layered performance and using these to mix it. I hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.